central Mississippi and Alabama are facing a significant severe weather threat this May 7th, 2026. Right now, this afternoon and tonight, supercell thunderstorms are expected to fire across a corridor stretching from Jackson, Mississippi through Birmingham, Alabama. And the atmosphere is capable of producing strong, dangerous tornadoes. At the same time, while that is happening in the south, Denver's metro picked up 5 to 8 inches of heavy, wet May snow, with more than a foot near the foothills and mountains. At the peak Wednesday morning, more than 55,000 homes and businesses lost power across the Front Range. Schools closed, highways shut down. And here is the striking part. It is the same cold front driving both of these events simultaneously. 26 degrees Fahrenheit and winter storm conditions in the Rockies on one side of that front. 80 degrees surface temperatures with Gulf moisture fueling 2,500 joules per kilogram of atmospheric energy on the other side. That thermodynamic contrast is exactly what meteorologists are watching very closely today. Add to this, Memphis is dealing with ongoing flood concerns. A fatality from flash flooding was reported in San Antonio earlier this week, and a hard freeze is threatening crops across the high plains. This is a full continent weather story unfolding in real time on May 7th, 2026. So let's get right into the forecast. All right, let's start with the most dangerous part of today, and that is the south. The Storm Prediction Center, the SPC, is the federal agency responsible for tracking severe weather nationally, and they have issued an enhanced risk for central Mississippi and central Alabama. That is a level 3 out of 5, and level 3 is a serious above average severe weather day. When the SPC goes to level 3, they are telling you that significant organized severe weather is expected. Not possible, not likely, expected. That distinction matters enormously. The corridor they are most concerned about runs right along Interstate 55 from Jackson, Mississippi southward toward Hattiesburg, then northeast through Meridian up into the Birmingham and Tuscaloosa metro areas in Alabama. Montgomery is also in the risk zone, and so is Selma, and so is the I-20 corridor east of Birmingham. Now, let me explain why this setup is so dangerous, and I want to break this down clearly. The SPC uses a tool called the STP, the Significant Tornado Parameter, which is a score that measures exactly how favorable the atmosphere is for strong, dangerous tornadoes. It combines wind shear, instability, moisture, and the height of the lowest clouds, all the ingredients that create the most dangerous tornado-producing thunderstorms. Anything above 1 is noteworthy, and anything above 4, that is where meteorologists get very concerned. Today, across central Mississippi and Alabama, STP values are elevated well into the dangerous range, the kind of environment we associate with significant outbreak days. The SPC has specifically highlighted this corridor for the potential of significant long-track tornadoes, and that language coming from the SPC is not routine. It is serious. These are tornadoes that can stay on the ground for miles and miles, and these are the tornadoes that destroy homes. Now, let me talk about what makes the atmosphere so ready today using one more key term, CAPE, convective available potential energy. Think of CAPE as a measure of how much explosive energy is stored in the atmosphere waiting to be released the moment a storm fires. Average severe weather days in the south might carry 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram of CAPE. Today across Mississippi and Alabama, CAPE values are running at 2,500 joules per kilogram. That is an extraordinary amount of atmospheric fuel for early May. Surface dew points, a measure of how much moisture is in the air, are sitting in the mid-60s to low 70s Fahrenheit, which is Gulf of Mexico moisture streaming directly into this setup. So let's talk hazards. First, tornadoes, and this is the primary threat today. Supercell thunderstorms, organized rotating storm cells, the most dangerous type of thunderstorm, are expected to develop this afternoon across central Mississippi and sweep into Alabama by evening. With STP values, this elevated discrete supercells that are separated from each other, are capable of producing EF2 and EF3 tornadoes, possibly stronger. Rain-wrapped tornadoes are also a significant concern tonight. A rain-wrapped tornado is one hidden inside heavy rainfall that you cannot see coming, which is exactly why the after-dark threat is so dangerous. Second hazard, hail, and significant hail is in the outlook today. We are talking golf ball size, about 1.75 inches in diameter, up to baseball size at 2.75 inches. And baseball size hail will destroy a vehicle, shatter windows, and punch through roofing material. If you hear hail begin, that storm is right on top of you. Get inside immediately. Third hazard, wind with damaging straight line gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour expected as storms organize into a squall line later tonight. Winds exceeding 60 miles per hour are enough to bring down full-grown trees, snap power lines, and cause significant structural damage to homes and businesses. Fourth hazard, flash flooding, and this is a threat that is already developing across the region as I speak. WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, the federal agency that forecasts flooding nationally, has issued a moderate risk of excessive rainfall, which is level 3 out of 4 for southern Mississippi and west central Alabama, including Jackson. Rain rates of up to 3 inches per hour have already been recorded in parts of southern Mississippi. 3 inches an hour is not rain, that is a wall of water, and roads flood in minutes. Now, model agreement and models are in good agreement on the supercell corridor today. The key uncertainty is how far north quality Gulf moisture returns before storm initiation. If it reaches northern Alabama before the storm's fire, the threat expands significantly northward. If it stalls, the worst stays focused on central and southern Mississippi and south central Alabama. Either scenario produces a dangerous day. The question is exactly how far the threat extends. Now, let me take you region by region through what is happening and what to expect. Starting in Colorado, the Denver metro area was hit hard by a historic late season snowstorm, picking up 5 to 8 inches in the city and 12 inches near the foothills. 6 to 16 inches fell across Summit County and along and north of I-70. That storm wound down Wednesday afternoon and conditions are improving this morning. That storm wound down Wednesday afternoon and road conditions are improving this morning. But if you are traveling through Colorado or southern Wyoming today, check cotrip.org or call 511 before you leave. Interstate 70 west of Denver may still have residual chain controls, and I-25 through Monument Hill could remain slick in shaded areas. On the high plains, eastern Colorado, northwest Kansas, southwest Nebraska, a freeze warning has been in effect since last night with temperatures dropping to 26 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a hard freeze, and winter wheat that has already begun jointing a critical growth stage is at risk of damage. Farmers in those areas are monitoring very closely this morning. Moving east into the Memphis metro area, flash flooding struck the region overnight Wednesday with 2 to 3 inches of rain falling, and active flooding reported in Bartlett, Germantown, Collierville, Soudavan, and West Memphis. Warnings have since expired, but additional rainfall is possible today. If you are in Shelby County, Tennessee or DeSoto County, Mississippi, and you encounter a flooded road, turn around, do not drive through it. Most flood fatalities happen in vehicles. That warning is not for drama. It is a fact. Down in Louisiana and southeast Texas, isolated severe storms are expected this afternoon with damaging gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour and isolated large hail. There is also a non-zero risk of a brief tornado across the New Orleans metro and the Baton Rouge area. And in San Antonio, Texas, officials reported 1 fatality from flash flooding earlier this week, a reminder of how quickly floodwaters can turn deadly. Moving into Alabama and Mississippi, temperatures this morning are already in the mid to upper 60s and climbing with dew points in the upper 60s. You step outside and the air feels heavy and oppressive. That is the atmospheric fuel being loaded into this system, and it is not going to dissipate before the storm's fire this afternoon. By this afternoon, Birmingham, Jackson, and the broader corridor are looking at temperatures in the low to mid 70s. That warmth building through the day is exactly what is feeding this setup. And finally, the Northeast I-95 corridor from Washington, D.C. up through New York and Boston will see a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain this afternoon. Temperatures there are in the 50s and low 60s. No severe weather is expected, and there are no significant disruptions forecast for the Northeast today. All right, let's walk through the hour-by-hour timeline because timing matters when your life is at stake. This morning through noon, conditions are primed, but storms have not fired yet in the main zone across Mississippi and Alabama. The atmosphere is charging like a battery, and Louisiana is already seeing some early activity. Use this window right now to make your plan. Know where you are going. If a tornado warning is issued, identify your safe room and make sure your phone weather alerts are turned on with both sound and vibration. If your local sirens go off tonight, you should already know exactly where you are going. By 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. CDT, isolated supercells begin firing across central Mississippi as convective inhibition. The cap that has been suppressing storm development starts to erode. The first storms that fire this afternoon will likely be discrete supercells, and discrete supercells in an environment with STP values this elevated are the most prolific tornado producers. This is the most dangerous window of the day in terms of long track, strong tornado potential. By 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. CDT, this is the peak threat window. Supercells are at maximum intensity moving through central Mississippi, and the I-55 corridor from Jackson to Hattiesburg is at severe risk. If you are anywhere in Hinds County, Rankin County, Copiah County, or Scott County, Mississippi, you need to know your safe room before 3 p.m., not when the siren goes off. Before. Also by this window, storms are moving into Alabama across the Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and Selma corridor, and large to very large hail, golf ball to baseball size, will be falling with these cells. Get your vehicles into a garage if you have one, because hail damage from storms like this can total a car. By 7 p.m. to midnight CDT, this is where the character of the event changes as individual supercells begin merging into a more linear structure, a squall line moving eastward. When storms organize this way, the tornado threat decreases slightly, but the damaging wind threat explodes, with gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour along the leading edge of this line. And this is when the rain-wrapped tornado risk is highest after dark in heavy rain. If you are in central Alabama and a tornado warning is issued tonight, go to your interior room on the lowest floor immediately. Do not look out the window. Do not go outside. You do not look out the window. You do not step outside to look at the sky. You shelter in place, and mobile homes are not safe. Overnight into early morning May 8, the squall line pushes into Georgia, and the Carolinas. Severe weather risk diminishes across Mississippi, but heavy rainfall continues and flash flooding risk remains. Now let me give you the extended outlook. What does the rest of this week look like? Tomorrow, Friday, May 8, the severe threat shifts east into Georgia and the Carolinas. A few storms could still be severe across southeast Alabama into central Georgia in the morning hours, with strong wind gusts and a brief tornado possible. Atlanta Metro, you are not completely out of this. Atlanta Metro, you are not completely out of this. So monitor your forecast Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, the cold front reaches the coast and the severe threat diminishes for most areas. In Colorado, roads are recovering through Friday. And in one of the more unusual footnotes to this event, Arapahoe Basin Ski Resort has announced it is reopening next weekend after receiving 14 inches of new snow from this storm. That tells you something about the magnitude of what hit Colorado. Saturday and Sunday, a new shortwave trough drops into Texas and a dry line sets up across western Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. If Gulf moisture returns far enough north by Sunday afternoon, we could be watching another severe weather setup for the southern plains. Confidence is moderate at this range. Do not lock in on details yet. Confidence is moderate at this range. We are watching it and do not lock in on specific details yet. Sunday into Monday, the remnant front could stall over the lower Mississippi Valley, keeping heavy rain and flash flood risk elevated across Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, which will already be saturated from today's rainfall. Beyond day 5, confidence drops significantly, but the pattern favors continued unsettled conditions across the southeast through mid-May, and this is not a one-day event for that region. Before I let you go, here is what I need you to do right now if you are in Mississippi or Alabama. Identify your safe room, an interior room on the lowest floor away from windows, and make sure your phone is charged and weather alerts are enabled with both sound and vibration. If you are in a mobile home, make plans now to shelter in a sturdy building before storms arrive this afternoon. And if you encounter a flooded road anywhere in the South today, turn around, do not drown. All data in this video comes from the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, and the Weather Prediction Center, the federal agencies responsible for keeping you safe. If this video helped you understand today's threat, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a forecast update when severe weather threatens your area. Stay safe out there, everybody. This is a serious weather day. Take it seriously, and we will see you in the next one.